Right, welcome to this tactics and unit showcase video for the T'au Empire, and in this episode we're going to take a look at T'au Hammerheads. I've been a long time fan of the T'au Hammerhead, and it seems now that they are powerful once more. I've featured them in my new list. I've sort of really changed my T'au around, and so have started to use Hammerheads again, and they seem pretty good. But in this video I'm going to take a closer look at the models to give you an idea of how they've come out, how I've painted them up, and then we'll focus in on the rules. We'll look at enhancements and hints and tips and tricks that you can get the most out of these models. They're a classic T'au model. The T'au Hammerhead, the main gunship here, is just one of the classic T'au models. It's very, very iconic, and it's one of my favourite models in the T'au Empire range. So what we'll do is we'll bring the models in here and take a closer look at them first of all. So I have two Hammerheads here, painted up in my revamped colour scheme. This is what I call Hammerhead number 2, and then he fights alongside Longstrike here, so that's that one. And then I have Longstrike here as well, so that's them two there. Now the old colour scheme used to be, had no orange and a lot less grey and white and so on. I revamped it, taking the old colour scheme that I had, applied some washes, all of the chipping technique was added on to that as well, and I've given it a more of a weathered look here for the T'au. I'm very happy with this colour scheme. Without the orange it was quite flat looking, and then just to make them stand out a bit more, I added the orange colour in. Very happy with how they've come out. So white markings on here just to mark him as Longstrike, as the pack leader, and then Hammerhead number 2 in support. In games that I play in the new list, these two fight alongside each other. It looks good, and then there's some rules benefits as well for doing that. So I'm going to zoom in here. We'll just move Hammerhead number 2 out of the way, and then we'll zoom in here and you can take a closer look at Longstrike. So I call him Longstrike. It's not the official Longstrike model. In with the T'au Hammerhead Gunship kit, you do get a model with the binocular type things here, and you can easily just have him as a Longstrike model, no problem at all, to mark him differently from the others around. You can configure and paint your vehicle slightly different from your other Hammerheads as well. So I call him Longstrike, but it's not the official GW Longstrike model. I think it looks good enough. So there he is. There's a bit of damage here. You see these antennas, they're a nightmare. This one at the front's broken off during some battle somewhere. I've lost the bit for it as well, but you'd hardly notice here. These are loose as well, just so I can swap out the different configurations. So smart missile systems is what I've gone for on the front. Seeker missiles here as well. You can take 2 of them. I've added those in. Now you get sort of 1 in each kit. For extras, I bought a pack of Forge World. I'm not sure if they still do them. That was some years ago, but Forge World do a pack of T'au Seeker missiles, and you can use them to bulk out your models. So you can see the weathering here and the damage, the chipping effect. Now, if you like the colour scheme here, then on the regular channel, on this channel, there is the T'au painting tutorial. And from start to finish, I show you how to paint one of the XV88 broadsides. But it's exactly the same process, same colours, same process used here for the tank. So check that video out. And then if you want help with larger projects like this one, then on the Plus channel, there is an in-depth painting tutorial for the T'au. It's probably one of the biggest projects I've done, and that's from start to finish, from all the way from the start of the model to the finish. I show you how to paint the Storm Surge, a massive model, and in that video I give you all the details of how to paint that and sort of larger units as well, more challenging units to paint up in that video. So that's Striking Scorpion 82 plus.vhx.tv. You can check that out on that website there. There's here you can see I've made use of the transfers as well. This is from the actual transfer sheet that you do get in with the plastic kit as well. Just showing you all the front, side, back views. That if I do get a lot of people asking, can I copy your colour schemes? I'm just showing you all the different angles here. So for saving time, areas that are not very important on the vehicle, such as this area of the gun, this bit here, this area around here, the back, underneath, I don't really paint with any spot colours at all. Why paint them? You want the focus to be drawn towards the important parts of the model. So this part here and the front, you can see more colours being added. And then the end of the gun, which is what you want your opponent to see, this massive railgun, I've put more colour and more effort onto that. So it means you're not having to paint all the panels on your model. And as you see in the painting tutorial, this darker grey is actually the spray that I use as the undercoat. So you're spraying it, and you're going straight onto your washes and chipping. It saves you tons of time. And then by the time you add in your colours, your transfers being made use of here as well in the vehicle, fills out nicely with colour. Another thing is, you might like the process I've used here but not the colour, but you can easily swap that out for something else. You can go for green or yellow or blue and change that orange out for something else and create an entirely different theme and colour scheme, but still using the same painting technique. As far as damage is concerned, the flying bases are a nightmare. So for this one, I've done it with landing gear down. That means you still get the height, so that his weapons aren't scraping along the floor, and you can hardly see the landing gear, so it still looks like he's virtually hovering above as well. Hammerhead number 2 is a bit different. I did get a bit tired of the model breaking all the time from that base, so instead for this one, just take this off, use a stack of magnets. You can see that it's chipped a little bit there, but there's magnets underneath. One big magnet here, looks like a 10 or 12 millimeter wide by about 2 or 3 millimeters thick, super glued on, and then a stack of magnets like this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those super glued on. The paint started to come off a bit, but the super glue is holding them in place, and that is strong enough for that vehicle not to move. And that just sits back on top of that magnet, and during the game I can move that around. It never comes off, it never snaps. So I'm really happy with using magnets. They're quite straightforward to do. Get yourself a nice strong super glue and you can do that no problem. Yeah, I've just noticed, I thought I had, you might not be able to see it here with the light, but inside there I stuck one magnet underneath, and then I dropped some more on the inside to strengthen it, to make it stronger, and that makes that magnetic bond strong enough to support this vehicle. So that works just like that. It means, because I always have, same with my Eldar wave serpents and so on, always having those plastic bases snapping, magnetising, so much better. Or just put the landing gear down, like I've done there with Longstrike. So that's giving you an idea of the models here. We'll take a look at them. Take a look at the Hammerhead now in the new codex. So I'm aware that the railgun's not the most popular option at the moment, but I try and create armies that I like. I like the models. I like the railgun. I just think it's absolute classic. That long-barreled weapon, flattened, is just very alien technology. Just love the whole look of it. When you swing the turret round, that massive gun, it just looks very, very cool. The iron cannon perhaps is better, but I want to try and make these weapons work here. So there are some hints and tips that you can do to improve that. So we'll look at the regular Hammerhead. I think is wise to do that first, then you'll see I'll compare that to the benefits of taking Longstrike as well. So the TX7 Hammerhead Gunship. So the first thing, T'au firepower is deadly, but reliability sometimes is a bit of an issue. There's plenty of ways around that. One way around that is to take Hammerheads, because their ballistic skill starts at 3+, which is very, very helpful. Usually it's a 4+ for T'au. 3+ makes all the difference, so you're immediately starting at nice accurate firepower. Toughness 7, 13 wounds. This vehicle is as tough as a regular battle tank, 3-up save, and 13 wounds. That's a lot of wounds to try and get through. The amount of damage that these things can absorb is pretty good. So, you know, there's durability there. There's a lot of wounds for the opponent to try and get through. So I take you can go for burst cannons, but the range is 18, so not that great. This is meant to be a unit that fires from long range. You know, you're trying to stay as far away from the opponent as possible and then use that almighty 72-inch range. So you want a maximum range possible with your other firepower. So I usually take the smart missile system. It's 30-inch range, much better. Heavy 4. You got 2 of them, so that's 8 shots. And again, coming at 3+. Strength 5. No minus on the AP and 1 damage, but you can fire at units that you can't see. and there's no benefit to cover either. So it's pretty good. It's actually really good. So smart missile system, definitely. Now, you can't protect these with drones. You can't protect these tanks with drones. So the best protection, and cover is very difficult now for vehicles in 8th edition. So the best protection for them, and you usually see me do this in the different battle reports, is try and tuck them way off in a corner somewhere. So the extreme corner of my deployment zone, and usually away from the rest of my army as well. So the opponent's either got to fire at the bulk of the army or the hammerheads in some distant corner. And if you can cut down the range, because that 72-inch range you can pinpoint any part of the battlefield, but if you can deploy outside of 36 inches, 48 inches, you can get further and further away, then that means the opponent has less to fire at you, and that can add to your durability. So that's about the best help that you can go for. If you do take damage, I'll sort of discuss tactics and things as we go along. There is the automated repair system for 2 command points. It's for battlesuits or vehicles. It's D3 lost wounds. So there's the pressure on the opponent. If they know that if they don't destroy the hammerhead, if they don't take out all 13 wounds, which is a fair bit of effort to do it, you know, it's going to take a minimum of 3 last cannon damage rolls at least to destroy it. So it just shows you it can absorb a fair bit of damage. If they fail to do that, the ability is to start repairing yourself, D3 wounds a time, and then bring that vehicle back up to a better fighting capacity. So durable enough if you use them wisely. So you'll see that in games. I usually tuck them right in the corner, keep them out of trouble, and away from the rest of the army. So it's like a separate area the opponent needs to try and get to. If the cover's good, then by all means make use of line of sight blocking terrain. If there's a large enough piece there to try and block that, that really helps as well. So make use of cover that entirely obscures you, so the opponent can't see you, can't shoot at you, is another option as well. So then on to the railgun. You have sub-munitions, which is range 72, heavy D6, so between 1 and 6 shots, strength 6 -1 and 1 damage. Is terrible. It really is bad. I've fired it a couple of times in desperate situations to try and deal with some infantry, but it's not that great at all. It's the solid shot is what you want. So the range is deadly. We'll compare it to the iron cannon in a moment. Heavy 1, it is only a 1-shot weapon. But if you do get that hit, you're coming in at strength 10, so you're on freeze to win most vehicles. It's -4, which means you're going to bypass most armour, unless it's something like a Land Raider, but even then they're going to have a 6-up save. And then the damage is D6, which is variable enough. If you're on 6+ to wound, it's D3 mortal wounds in addition as well. So, what I've done to make this weapon work, we'll come back to in a minute. The iron cannon here, this is why a lot of T'au players are taking the iron cannon. I'm sure this is, by all means, discuss this in the comment section below. You can fire standard, which is heavy 3, strength 7, -2 and 2 damage. So you've got your anti-heavy infantry all-round weapon. But then you can overcharge, heavy D6, it's variable, but the potential of a lot of shots, strength 8, -2 and 3 damage. Any rolls of 1, the bearer suffers a mortal wound after all the shots have been resolved. So there is more damage potentially with that one. But I've gone for the railgun. Number of hurdles to cross. First one is hitting the target. That deadly roller 1, roller 2 I've missed is the thing you want to avoid. So you're starting at a 3+. What can help you is marker lights, first of all, to give you your reroll 1s is the first step. One marker light hit on the target gives T'au Empire models plus reroll 1s for your hits. So now you're on, this is just a standard hammerhead, 3s to hit, rerolling 1s. That's very accurate firepower, you're only going to miss on a 2. So that's helpful to start off with. Then if you do get lots of marker lights, perhaps your army's got loads of potential to do that, you can add 1 to the hit rolls for T'au Empire models attacking this unit, so you're on 2s rerolling 1s. So that's the first hurdle. Then there is wounding the target. You're going to be on a 3+, which is, 2/3 of the time you're going to get that wound. Usually at that stage I might have a reroll on standby. This is the shot I want to get through. So reroll on standby is available there as well most of the time. So that's that. Then your damage. So D6, and again you may want to reroll that. So there's variables in there. There's some enhancements. The other thing to make more of an impact of these models, which I think is absolutely worth doing, is your ability to take up to 2 Seeker missiles. Seeker missiles are 5 points each. So for 10 points, you're getting Seeker missiles, which is 72-inch range. It matches the range. So on the first turn, you're going to shoot. You're letting loose your Railgun solid shot and 2 Seeker missiles coming in at Strength 8 -2 and D6 damage. So to make that work though, you need to get 2 Marker Light hits. Destroying Seeker missiles fired at this unit, use the model's ballistic skill rather than hitting on a 6. So it's dependent on your Marker Light hits coming through. Another stratagem that I use, which you'll see me using a lot in games, is the uplinked Marker Light stratagem. It's only 1 command point. Use this stratagem after an enemy unit has been hit by Marker Light, so you get your 1 Marker Light hit, then you place D3 plus 1 Marker Light counters next to that unit. So you play that stratagem, you've got your Marker Light hit, you're guaranteed to get 2 at least, and therefore you can then let loose with your Seeker missiles. So now you've got, you know, a model that on its first round of shooting, or whenever you decide to let loose of those Seeker missiles, you can let rip with a lot of accurate firepower and some real deadly damage potentially coming from them. So an excellent enhancement, just for the sake of 10 points, is a must. So Seeker missiles on the Hammerhead gunships is well worth taking, but you need to have Marker Lights in your army in order to gain those enhancements. So that's standard Hammerhead with some benefits as you've seen. Now we'll show you the incredible benefits you get if you go for Longstrike, which is here. So he's got all the standards set up as a regular Hammerhead, but for him, his starting ballistic skill is 2+. So now imagine you're in a situation where you're on 2s to hit, and then with Marker Light you're rerolling 1s. You're almost guaranteed that hit. So that first hurdle of getting the hit, you're virtually guaranteed to get your hit. Then second hurdle, remember, is the trying to wound your target. So we're just thinking of a regular battle tank here, so Predator for example. He comes with Tank Ace. Add 1 to your wound rolls for Longstrike's gunship when it shoots a vehicle or a monster. So remember, strength 10, usually 3s to wound. Now it's 2s to wound. So you're almost guaranteed to get your wound with him when he targets a vehicle or a monster. So very, very good. So 2s to hit, rerolling 1s potentially. 2s for your wound, do a reroll, perhaps on standby, he gets that. And remember, when you add 1 to your wound rolls, the chances of you getting your D3 mortal wounds increases as well. On a 5+, you'll get your mortal wounds of your D3 mortal wounds. So all of a sudden, it's pretty good. And remember, Hammerhead number 2, hitting on 3+. You've got Firecast Exemplar here. Add 1 to the hit rolls in the shooting phase for friendly T'au Empire Hammerhead Gunships. So my Hammerhead number 2 now hits on 2+. What's also interesting is it also includes Longstrike. He's within his own bubble, so he's on 2s to hit with a +1 to hit as well. So therefore, if you manoeuvre him, sometimes I'll do that, manoeuvre him around, it's -1, then +1 again. So he's still hitting on 2s even if he moves. So very accurate firepower when these two work together. And again, I go for 2 Seeker missiles. So now potentially the turn 1 firepower from these two is 2 Railgun shots and 4 Seeker missile shots. Very, very, very accurate. So say it's a super heavy, for example. I Marker Light that target up, rerolling 1s, 2s to hit with all of the firepower from these things. -4, you're bypassing the armour, and then you're causing havoc, potentially, as was seen in one of the games on the Plus channel. So I just like the whole setup for him, so pretty good. Now, the only thing here is it's T'au Sept. You have to go for T'au to get that +1 to hit, and I do run T'au Sept here for these, not any of the other Septs that are available. You can also combine this with your focus fire stratagem. There's that target, there's that Baneblade, it has to be destroyed. 3 command points does cost a lot. Use the stratagem after a T'au Sept unit from your army inflicts an unsaved wound on an enemy unit in the shooting phase. You've got an unsaved wound. You add 1 to your wound rolls for any other T'au Sept units from your army that target the same enemy unit that phase. So +1 to your wounds again. So Longstrike on a 4+ to get those mortal wounds, and then regular Hammerheads 5+. All of that helping out, and then also pushing up your ability to wound in the first place. You know, from 3+ up to 2+. So focus fire. It's expensive, but if there's that one target you must take out, such as a super heavy or an Imperial Knight, it's well worth it. But again, it has to be T'au Sept. So the Hammerheads sit quite nicely in a T'au Sept army, if you're going to choose that Sept for your T'au force. So it's that combination. You'll see those two working together with all of those enhancements, making use of those stratagems, making use of the abilities that Longstrike grants, and Markerlight help, all adds to a very, very accurate firepower. Excellent ability to cause wounds, and then potentially nasty damage coming through, and then even more with those seeker missiles being added in. So all of that combined together is pretty good. Longstrike's about 215 points, so he's pretty good, and then 178 points for the Hammerhead number 2. It's not too bad in points cost. And again, you know, these two here, that's 26 wounds for the opponent to try and get through. So it's a fair bit. And also, something else that's interesting, if Longstrike's brought down to 1 wound left, he still hits on a 4+. And then, because he's on +1 to hit, he'll hit on a 3+. 3+ to hit with his ballistic skill, even if he's on 1 wound remaining. It's incredible. So I really rate Longstrike and the Hammerheads in general. I've gone for railguns. I know a lot of people are playing the iron cannons now, but I'm going to stick with these, and they have served me well so far. So I'm happy enough with this combination, but feel free to discuss the different options that are available in the comment section below. So I do usually line up a few examples. So we'll go for a regular Hammerhead first of all. We'll bring in our crash test dummy, our yellow rhino. So a tank of some kind. Let this guy fire. So first of all, without 0 enhancements, so 3+ for a hit. You know, this is scary here because you could roll a 2, you know, and your tank's wasted. That's it, gone. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. Let's say, well, with no Markerlight help, there's no seeker missiles. That's what I'm trying to avoid. The 1 shot and a miss and wasted scenario. So let's say now we've got some Markerlight assistance. So we're on still a 3+. Do get our hit with reroll 1s. 3s for your wound. Got the wound. I've got a 6 here actually. So D3 mortal wounds. There's 3 mortal wounds straight away. -4, no armor allowed, and D6 damage is a 6, so 9. Almost destroyed the rhino. So I really like the railgun, it's very good. So this tank will be on 1 wound remaining. Let's say we've got our 2 Markerlight hits now to optimise this. So we'll go for the railgun, rerolling 1s, got our hit, 3s for a wound, got the wound, it's D6 damage, 2 damage, seeker missiles, 3s for hits, that's a miss, and then would have been a hit though with Longstrike, 3s for a wound, yep, 5+ save, saved on a 6, so it's not as effective. So swap him out, and we'll bring in Longstrike. So let's say we've got our, we'll move on and say we've got a Markerlight, 2 Markerlight hits. So 2s to hit. 5s is good for your wounds. No, just a regular wound. He's on freeze to wound. That too is a wound. Thanks to Longstrike. So D6 damage, just the 1. 2 seeker missiles. A hit and miss. We'll reroll this one for the Markerlight. Still hits though because he's 2+ to hit. 3s to wound. Failed. So, oh, hang on a second. No. That is a wound. He's on +1 to his wound rolls. That is a wound. Roll up a save, it's failed, and the seeker missile causes 5. So 5 + 1 is 6. Pretty good. So that was a pretty disastrous roll there, but still managed to half destroy the rhino. So you can see you're not paying too much more in points, and it's well worth paying those few extra points and adding in your seeker missiles. You know, 1 wound instead became 6 thanks to the help of the seeker missiles. That's just 5 points a time being added in, and so I think that's well worth doing. But the pair of these working together is deadly. Now he's granting you +1 to hit to him. With the Markerlight help, both these guys on 2s to hit, rerolling 1s is utterly deadly. So we'll do that then. We'll do a final round of shooting. Longstrike first of all. Gets his hit on 2+. 2s for a wound with him. So 1 has failed. I'll use a command point at this stage. So I get my wound. I then do d6 damage. It's 4. Being caused, so drop to 6. I'll declare the seeker missiles. They both hit. 2s for wounds with them. Utterly deadly. And then saves here required. Save 1. d6 damage. 4. So 2 left. Then hammerhead number 2. And remember this could be being done at the far end of the board. So these could be way in the far corner, and this could be right at the other end of the table. That's why I'm not going to fire the seeker missiles. The Railgun. 2s for a hit thanks to Longstrike. 3s for a wound. Failed. The seeker missiles though may help. 2s for hits thanks to Longstrike. 3s to wound. 2 wounds come through. 2 saves needed. Both failed. This is it. Yeah, 6 more wounds and Rhino destroyed. So that could be a Predator, or main battle tank, a Lehman Russ or something, for example. Same kind of results. So mission accomplished, but mission accomplished only because of the benefits being granted by him and those helpful seeker missiles as well, just adding to the amount of damage potentially it could be caused. And that could be turn 1, where you have a target that must be destroyed, and so you want these 1-use cheap missiles here to just let loose of all of them and try and reduce that target down as quickly as possible to get your T'au army ahead in the game early on. So that's the unit showcase and tactical video here for the Hammerheads, just designed to show you the units here, give you a flavour of how they fight and what they're all about, just to share with you various tactics that I use for my army. And so if you want to see these Hammerheads being used, check out the different battle reports that are already on the channel, and battle reports, plenty of battle reports featuring the T'au on the Plus channel as well, so you can check that out. There's a link is in the channel description, or in this video description below. So you'll see them being used in games and seeing how effective they are. If you're thinking about, well, do I get this unit or not, the best way to see it, or to test that, is to check out battle reports. Then you'll be able to see them. Oh yes, that's how they're used, and that's how effective they can be in real games that go on. So check out those battle reports here on the regular channel and on the Plus channel as well. But there it is. Leave your own comments and feedback about the Hammerhead gunships and that discussion between, do you go for Railgun, Iron Cannon, what the various options there are as well. That's the video. Keep a lookout for more T'au tactical videos in the future. I have a final T'au list. It's proposed on the Plus channel. Subscribers have been leaving their feedback. I think I've pretty much reached my final list. I filmed a game of it recently, and then I plan to film more games and to re-release the T'au army overview and do a start collecting video as well for them. Been working on the T'au. I want to get this list rounded off and another army revamped and ready to fight on both of the channels as well. But there it is. That's the video here for Hammerhead Gunships in 8th edition with the new codex. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.